Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Omer. I'm head of sales for Sesanta. I'm actually seeing that most of you are from the digital advertising world. I'm actually not far away from that world. I worked at Google for about 8 years, and then 2 years I spent time in Twitter. And then after that, I joined Sesanta, which is an IoT company founded by ex-Google engineers. Some of our products are actually used in some of the famous smartwatches. And recently, we have been, one of our products, again, has been used in the International Space Station. So we're going through a very exciting time. Today, I wanted to talk to you about Internet of Things and what possibilities it will open up for us. But before that, I just wanted to have a feel of the room. How many of you have you heard the term Internet of Things or IoT? Wow, great. And how many of you have an IoT device? Great, we're getting there. Cool, OK. So in order to get started, I want you to go back to earlier this morning. So let's think that you're in your hotel room and you're lying down, and your bed is able to understand that you have a busy schedule ahead of you, and you needed to be at Google 9 a.m. sharp, and your bed was able to understand your sleeping pattern during the night, and it was able to wake you up at 7:30 a.m. by vibrating the bed. It started vibrating the bed, and then slowly started opening up the curtains, turned on the air conditioning, so you're waking up to a warm room. And it went even beyond. Your bathroom started talking to the hotel management system and understood what temperature you like for your shower. Right, this is an exaggeration, but this is called Internet of Things. Devices talking to other devices. So you might actually think that this is maybe futuristic or maybe consumer-facing. Are there industrial applications? Yes. So let's think about a smart factory. In a smart factory, we will have smart machinery. Those machineries will be able to talk to other machineries. For example, it will be able to say, hey, I'm about to break down. Can you please take over my role? So the other machine will take over the role. Or it will be able to say, hey, engineer, I'm about to break down. Please do maintenance. I'll share some examples with you. So let's look at the opportunity. According to different resources, we're expecting somewhere between 25 to 30 billion devices to be connected by 2020. Given that we have about 5 billion devices connected today, that's a tremendous growth. What is the revenue opportunity? Some people believe that it will count around $4 trillion of revenue opportunity in that industry. Cool. So what is driving that growth? Why is this happening? So the computer that you see on your left is my first computer. It's IBM 386. Did any of you play with that before? Great. OK. So I remember paying $1,200 for that computer. It had 500K memory. The device that you see on your right is called ESP8266. It is similar to, it's almost the size of a euro coin here. It's actually, I'm holding that device in my hand at the moment. And it has, believe it or not, similar or even more processing power than this computer that we had 20 years ago. So devices like this and technologies that we produce will enable that growth. So what happens is you take a piece of device like that and you add sensors around it. So that device becomes a smart device. It can understand what is happening around it. And that it has a wireless connectivity. Do you see that maybe there's this piece here? This is an antenna. It means that it can communicate over Wi-Fi to any other thing. So that is where we see the opportunity. This is why that change is happening. And the price, this is just under $2. $1,200 that I paid, and then this is just under $2. And we believe that that trend is going to continue. So actually, let's look into some of the applications. I wanted to highlight here that this technology will enable people like you and me be able to make things, change things, and disrupt things. It will give all of us that power. Here is an example. This is a Labona chip IoT device. It's connected to your mobile phone. What it does is it takes a blood sample from your finger. In 15 minutes, it can tell you if you have a sexually transmitted disease. So let's pause for a second and think about the opportunity for human beings to fight against HIV in the remote locations around the world, where access to a big lab, access to a hospital is difficult and oftentimes premium. This is by far my favorite example. This is Sebastian. He's from Chile. So he's 14 years old, by the way. What he did is he took a chip like that. It's called Arduino. And he connected some sensors around it. What he wanted to do was he wanted to understand if he can alarm people 5 to 30 seconds before an earthquake. He was inspired by the systems in Japan. He researched about those systems. And he made it possible. He came up with a device that can detect earthquake 5 to 30 seconds in advance, and his device is able to tweet it out to people. And you know what? It cost him around $100, and it's a lot better than the Chilean government system. So Chilean government is actually following him to understand how they can improve it. So again, we are seeing a great example of how this technology is going to enable all of us to change things. This is a satellite. Right, it is 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter. It started on Kickstarter. It started as a Kickstarter project. It again uses one of those Arduino chips to connect. It basically has the similar functionalities of a satellite. It has a camera. It has a bunch of different sensors. So today, you can go back, buy this, and start your own space exploration. How? You just connect it to a balloon, and the balloon goes to orbit to collect data. You can start doing this. Again, a great example of how this disruptive technology is enabling us to change things. All right, so let's talk a little bit about business examples of this. This is Timken. Probably never heard about Timken before. They make bearings. Those bearings go into expensive devices like oil drilling machinery, which is mission critical and also expensive, so they need to keep going all the time. What they did is they placed sensors into those bearings. So these are metal bearings. So those metal bearings then became smart devices that are able to understand that they're going to break down, so that they can tell the engineers to replace them. So just imagine the cost saving of this. But moreover, let's think about the impact on the nature, right? Before an oil spillage, let's imagine that our systems were smart enough to understand that this is going to happen and it would alarm people so we could stop it. This is coming. Speaking of business, what are the value opportunities for the business? There are 3 value opportunities. We think that IoT will significantly change how we use our existing resources. We'll be able to optimize them. It will change how we come up with new products or improve our existing products. And the third piece, which is relevant to you, is how it's going to change the customer experience. Right, let's take a look at several examples here. Tesla, I'm sure most of you have heard about this. It's Model S. It's a connected car, electric car. It has a battery underneath the car, right? What Tesla found out is that the battery underneath the car has a potential to be damaged by the debris from the road, so it's too close to the road. What they did is, as soon as they noticed that, they sent over-the-air software update to make the suspension in the car higher until they come up with the right fix for that problem. And just recently, they announced that they're going to be pushing a software update to make this car self-driving. I'm sorry, Google. Right. So we are moving from owning a car with the same functionalities to an era where your car started to improve itself, change itself, update itself. I'm sure you heard about the Volkswagen case, where they need to recall probably millions of cars back to service stations just to make a software update. I'm sure if they had this technology, they would have had a better response to the situation. This is an example from Walt Disney. It's an entertainment company, and they're embracing IoT to change the customer experience. So if you are booking a holiday with them in Florida, what you do is you go to their website, you plan your holiday, and when you arrive, you have a bracelet, and that bracelet lets you access to certain entertainment or to your room. A cool example of that is, say if you have ordered your meals in advance, you planned that, and you're a big family and you want it to be much more organized. What you can do is you can just go to your restaurant, pick a table, and sit down. The restaurant will be able to understand that you are there and your food will arrive. You don't have to talk to anybody. So it means that you have much more time to enjoy your holiday. This is one of my favorite campaigns. It shows the world how you can customize a traditional product. I think with IoT, companies like Coca-Cola will have even more opportunities for personalization. If you could attach a sensor to a bottle, it will give you real-time data to be able to understand where your product is used, how it's consumed, who's consuming it, and at which operating environment it is. When you know this data, you will have plenty of business opportunities. Let's take an example. Let's say your fridge was able to talk to these bottles, right? It is going to happen. So your fridge will be able to understand that you're running low, so it will be able to order more for you. This is a basic example. Or if you did not have any Coke in your fridge, Coca-Cola would be able to push you a personalized message on your fridge screen, so you could probably buy more. So IoT technology will be enabling marketers like you to be able to tailor the right message to the right person at the right time. This sounds all exciting, but we have a lot of challenges. And I'm going to highlight 3 challenges that keep us awake at night. The first challenge is that if you are trying to connect 30 billion devices, everybody wants to connect those devices in their own way. There's no standard way of connecting those devices. And this is what we are working on as a company, to standardize and make it easy. The second one, which is obvious, is safety, security, and privacy. So it's great to have a connected car, but when you have this connected car, you want to make sure that it opens the door to you, not to somebody else. This is a basic example. Or your data, as you're collecting a lot of data, your data is secure and shared in the right way, in a transparent way. And the third piece is the technical expertise. So if you're talking about 30 billion devices, we're not going to have enough engineers to connect them, right? And this is where we as Sesanta come into play to make sure that those devices are connected in seamless way. We believe that connecting those devices should be as easy as building a website. Right. Is this the future? Are we going to turn into robots? Well, I don't think so. I don't think this is going to happen anytime soon. I think like all technology, IoT will work best when it is invisible. Those connected devices will be interwoven into our daily lives. They will disappear, but they will work behind the scenes to make everything better for us. But for marketeers, I'm really excited and I'm really curious what you, people in this room, will come up with the next advertising methods. So if you were thinking that digital advertising is maturing, think about what is coming next. Thank you very much.